Hello, my name's Denis Fernando and I'm a climate campaigner here at Friends of the Earth. We have done a piece of research showing the impact on young people of the current economic crisis and laying the groundwork for why we need to have green jobs as part of a plan for young people for a more viable future. And one of the things that we've analysed is the youth unemployment crisis. So there are currently 500,000 young people aged between 16 to 24 who are unemployed, and this could hit 1 million after furlough ends. Young people are one of the groups hardest hit by the economic crisis as a result of the pandemic, because young people are more likely to work in hospitality and retail, which have been hit disproportionately. Our report looks at the concept of economic wage scarring. So our research shows that if a young person aged between 18 to 20 is unemployed for 1 year, they stand to lose between 42 to £133,000 over the next 20 years. And collectively, if that happened across the whole of Britain, that would be 32 to 39 billion pounds lost in future wages across the UK. And to the average local authority, that would be 86 to 105 million pounds in local lost earnings for a local authority in England and Wales. So it goes to show that the impact on an individual young person also has an impact on the economy and on the local community and indeed on the national economic picture. These are a lot of figures, I know. In terms of that metric, however, what we feel is that the anxiety that young people feel is actually quite measurable when you look at that being a very real part of the future for young people. And it's in keeping with a piece of and Avars did across 10 countries in collaboration with 5 universities, which showed the levels of anxiety amongst young people. So 80% of young people believe that people have failed to care for the planet, 72% say the future is frightening, 65% of the young people surveyed said that governments are failing young people, and only 28% said that governments can be trusted. And when we look at the Code Red that has been issued this year by the IPCC, the UN General Secretary is actually, in a way, laying the groundwork for green jobs. So in his response, he said, the viability of our societies depends on leaders from governments, business and civil society uniting behind policies, actions and investments that will limit temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius. The solutions are clear. Inclusive and green economies, prosperity, cleaner air and better health are all possible if we respond to this crisis with solidarity and courage. So I just want people to take real kind of courage from the fact that big forces in the world understand that young people, green jobs, are part of the answer. And we believe that they are part of the answer to tackling the current youth unemployment crisis and making a contribution to the climate crisis. And the benefits don't only come to the individual. For example, cycling and pedestrian infrastructure jobs. If 50% of English and Welsh towns and cities received best practice cycle lanes and pedestrianisation, this could lead to healthcare savings of between 5 billion and 34 billion pounds. And each typical cycling city is worth £370 million to the NHS. Healthcare cost savings by 2011 prices. Domestic retrofitting lowers heating bills at times of rising energy prices. Better home energy efficiency could prevent the 3,200 deaths each year directly linked to cold and damp homes and reduce costs to the NHS. Green jobs also benefit in terms of flood defences, new social housing construction, plastic recycling infrastructure, and accelerated full fibre broadband. So we are calling for a quarter of a million green apprenticeships over the next 5 years, for funding of green infrastructure which could create 1 million jobs in the next 2 years, and for centres of excellence to plug the skills gap, so a 10-year settlement for further education enable the delivery of apprenticeships and training. We also want diversity bursaries to support historically disadvantaged groups who face barriers getting into the green workforce, and this includes BAME, women and disabled people. In the news, the government has said that it is committed to cutting the UK's carbon emissions by 78% by 2035, but this will require concerted action at all levels. And at the moment, the latest ONS data shows that the number of jobs in low carbon and renewable energy economy has declined by more than 30,000 in the last few years, and also green businesses have shrunk. So this is a real issue that needs to be urgently addressed. There are green shoots. For example, Andy Burnham, the Mayor of Manchester, pledged at a Youth Climate Strikes mayoral hustings in March this year to put together a retrofit task force, and that has now been done, bringing together landlords, the private sector, local colleges, to basically plug the skills gap needed to retrofit our existing housing stock. So that's a real whistle-stop tour through our report. It's a lot to process, and I'd say the best thing to do is to read through the executive summary at the beginning, which is 3 or so A4 pages, and then turn to the back, and there's a table at the back where we've broken down what the economic scarring is in your local authority area, and then if you're more interested you can look through it, but that will give you the gist of it. And we're here at Friends of the Earth if you do have any questions or further queries about this piece of work. Thanks very much.